Hi and welcome to a new issue of HD Index Painting, this time with Affinity, so to have a free program instead of Photoshop. You can see the other videos above. One word to the music, it's from a friend called Delacey. I will put up some links in the comments, so look it up later. Let us start right away. First we open a new display. I decided to make a small one, 320 by 256, in at 72 dpi. The other options are set as you can see here. Now let's create this screen. Now we will add a pixel layer. This is the first layer where we can set a background or some can draw on it. We need a pattern for the dithering. This is found here in the top. You can define a pattern on the fly, which is something like an overlay over the whole picture, but you can just find it on the top. For X dithering we need a 2x2 pattern that will be repeated over the whole page. The display is a little bit annoying in first if you use a very small pattern, so we have to zoom in the best way and use a small pixel brush to set our pixel or dithering pattern we want to use. Of course, this was just an example. Now we set up the usual HD index painting layers, which is first a black and white, where we just remove the colors. Then we use a posterize to reduce the color range from black to white to even smaller amount of colors, which is here 4. It can be 8 or 16. And then we will overlay the whole stuff with a gradient map to match the small amount of colors now to another color range. This is done by doing it from a dark color to a light color and add some colors in between. Okay, now I will remove the pixel pattern because this will be used later. It's just for an example that you can set up the pattern layer this way. Now we could start to paint. But before that we need to replace the background color. I personally favor a black background color, but I had to search a little bit through Affinity to find the right option. So I cut a little bit and then we will take one of our brushes here and test it out. Okay, let us try to change the background now to black. As we can see, the range is working. Take the fill tool. Okay, it's white, so let's change back to black. It changed before the color there, so that's a problem. Okay, now we will adjust or try out first some brushes. Yeah, come on, okay, works fine, but I'm not really satisfied with the pressure sensitivity here, so I try to find the settings for that. But I could find it above, so I set it up here, and now you can see that we can stroke several times over each other and change the color with that. Now let's go to the pattern we want to use as a dithering. We have to adjust the alpha channel for that. It's not as fine as in Photoshop. I don't know why. Maybe it's one of my own problems. That is a little bit different from the setup there. But you have to try it out to see which dithering or which amount of alpha channel fits for your dithering you want to use. Of course, you can also add several pattern layers like I showed at the beginning for each differing pattern you want to use. You can also load in some images if you want to. It's the same for the pattern brush. And now I will try out some settings until I'm satisfied and think this will be the settings I will be using if I want to draw. Okay, let's clear the screen and try to get a more textured brush from Affinity to see how it will work out. Oh yeah, that looks very nice. I'm totally surprised actually it looks so nice in Affinity, because my first tries looked really crazy in the beginning. But it's again a few years ago where I tried to work with this stuff. Let us see if we can set up something which looks a little bit like something intended. You can see that I'm a little bit confused about the settings still on Affinity, because I'm still searching my shortcuts and everything I'm used to in Photoshop, and I'm pretty sure there are some stuff which is a little bit identical to that in Affinity, but not where to find it in the moment. It will become maybe later. So far it's just try and error. But well, that can be fun too. Yeah, and you can see I'm painting here like in one of my automatic drawing sessions with no aim in my mind, just for fun, and of course no reference in mind or some idea in my mind, just how far can you go from this point. So I know for many people it's a little bit too abstract, but I like that stuff. Yeah, just filling it. That's fun. I like that. Give it some shade, give it some deep feeling with yeah, some texture. I have to admit I'm a little bit more on the emotional side if it goes to textures, because each of these stuff has some, yeah, for me, personal feeling I can combine with it, and I think it shows in the images if you use him in this way. So I try some brushes with different settings or different brushes just to get a feel for that, like here. Experimenting in this way does not always succeed, as you will see here now. But, and I know many people will say, why do you work this way? Well, it's for my personal fun. You learn a lot of stuff of the application, and maybe even about how some stuff works or creates even a new effect if you are on some graphics like this. The brushes are fine. I think you can also get a lot out of it, but there's a problem compared to Photoshop for me. Let me explain. In Photoshop you can select with the color pickers colors below a certain layer and below, and that is not possible here because if you try to color pick a color here, well, then we end up with always the color which is on the top layer by Affinity, which is always the already changed color from the gradient map. And this gradient map has always a different color value, which means that if you reduce the colors of the final color again back to a gray value, it doesn't match with the gray values we need to paint on the pixel layer we have below. But a small trick for me was to disable the color map layer, then create a range and copy this range or a part of this range on the top layer, so I can always grab with the color picker the right gray value I need. Like I said, it's a workaround, so but if you have a better idea or a good idea I might use in this case, please leave me a comment. To get even a better compare between the color and the grayscale, I just copy the grayscale, yes, also again, and now I have always a matching grayscale to the color we can draw on the pixel layer below the HD index painting layers. Okay, this was the start for HD index painting in Affinity, so experiment with the stuff. I think there are a lot of potentials also here, but I have to look up all the settings and shortcuts. I'm not so firm of yet in Affinity, but I even try to make some stuff for other programs in the future just to show the knowledge about how you can use HD index painting for your fun. And maybe we will see each other at the demo party in the future. That would be nice, competing with graphics and stuff. And thank you again to D'Alessio for his wonderful tune. Don't let me spell the name. I'm pretty sure I will spell it wrong in English or in German. So yes, thank you very much that he allowed me to use this. Goodbye, and I hope to see you soon.